Thank you, everyone. Now let's hear from Mr. Pushkar Gokhale, CEO of Godrej, as he discusses on navigating the changing security and businesses landscape, offering valuable perspective on adapting to the evolving business environment. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, so as Sayyam Bhai, Namaskar, very good afternoon to all of you. And I heard one of the speaker here say that, it's always challenging to uh, conduct a session after lunch. But I think we had a wonderful session here and yes, so the tone is set and I think the expectations are also very high. So you raised the bar already. And I'll try to do my best. See, today I am not here to talk about Godrej. Although I head the Godrej business for safes and security, we're not here to talk about Godrej because everybody in India knows Godrej, everybody in UAE knows Godrej and what it is. संयम भाई ने मुझे बोला कि सर आप IIM अहमदाबाद जाते हो IITs में जाते हो बात करते हो वहाँ पे and I get invited at various forums to guide some of the B schools and he requested कि there is a lot of youth who's going to be here for the session and I can see there is a lot of experience also here. So I don't know whether I'll stand to your expectations, but let me tell you what I am going to share today is nothing but how can we really navigate and build a business which delivers a perpetual kind of money-making machine and more focus on return on capital because I'm sure everybody here is interested in that. What I am going to do is quickly share with you a simple framework and there is a disclaimer that I am not from the jewelry industry. So please pardon me in case I go wrong on the jewelry data and jewelry aspect. But I think it always helps to get somebody from outside the industry and talk about certain frameworks. But I'll keep it simple. What I'm going to do is share with you what we do and also share with you with some examples so that you can understand a little bit of the concepts which I'm going to share here. So we'll keep it simple. So I think this is the first slide which talks about the Godrej profile, but I think subsequently what we are going to talk about is nothing but how can we navigate in the VUCA world. And when I say VUCA, I think it's volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Right? And I'm sure the youth is here, the future of India is here, the future of UAE is here. And so let's move ahead with this background. Yes, this is a very busy slide. And what I will do is just quickly share with you a simple framework which we use at Godrej Security Solutions. It starts off from, or rather it works on different pillars. So whatever we've been listening to since morning, I think this is more about a saransh or a summary where we actually tried to put together the various ideas. So right from offering to go-to-market excellence, then the back end, what really needs to be done on the back end. Digital, I think everybody is talking about digital. I'll talk a little bit on that. And of course, more on what you're doing right now is investing in the future. So I think this is a great initiative in terms of the investment in the future because the youth here is going to take this forward. So a little bit on that. So we'll go one by one quickly. I think one of the things which is very, very important, and I think I heard some of the speakers, eminent speakers speak about it, is voice of the customer. I think it is very, very important to understand what the customer wants. And I think who's the customer? We really heard that women are your customers. One of the things which I want to share with you is the median age in India for women is 28 years. So this is one data point which I thought would be of interest to all of you. So when you talk about the median age, which is 28, you can imagine what would be the preferences, what would be the design preferences rather. And of course, it would still vary from region to region because I think India is such a vast country. Every region has a preference for a design. Or it could be during weddings, it could be for official wear. So there are lots of things, but it is very, very important to understand what the customer wants, what is the voice of customer, and that is the only way you can develop different design ideas. And unless you develop something which the market wants, I think you will only pile up a huge inventory, which is very bad for your return on capital. I will share with you how we go about it and why I have taken specific example, because it is to do with the jewelry industry. So there is a small video which I will show as to how we do this kind of dipstick, this kind of work in terms of, I think the video is not playing here. Yeah. So this is about insights which we actually do. This is a user research which we carry out. So we go back, we do good amount of ideation. We talk to our customers. Our customers are all of you here. So we talk to them. We try to understand what are your challenges. So one of the things which came up during our user insights was that there is definitely an issue in terms of space, there is an issue in terms of convenience, there is an issue in terms of handling the gold jewelry which is kept inside the safes, getting it out. So that's where we are actually now working on developing solutions. So this is just one example I thought I'll give you. So we're not talking about the solution here, only the process of interviewing our customers and trying to get to the depth of what the customer wants. So I think that is the first thing. Basis that, you can also see some of the jewelers did mention that how can you have a product which can protect itself? And that's where, we actually got into more details. And this is something which we came up with, a solution to the problem, whereby, if there is an attack in the night, we can have this kind of a solution. We also came up with control on the mobiles, because this is again, some of the jewelers said, can I control my safe? Can I control my door through a mobile? So these are the kind of things which again was basis the user insights. The second part, I think, which is also equally important, and I think there was good amount of discussion in the morning. I think when you talk about go-to-market, it is more about the market, and it is more about the segments we are catering to. So as I mentioned some time back, of course, it is women, and women, of course, some of the men do buy jewelry, but I think largely it is women. And it is also to do with the segmentation age-wise, segmentation geography-wise, and even in geographies, there could be a geography within geography. So for example, if the store is actually located in an office area or an official hub, I think it will be more about diamond-studded jewelry, or it would be more about the women using the office-going women using it, or it could be in the proper hub, it could be more about segmentation into a wedding kind of a thing, or usual normal usage. So I think depending on the segment which you're catering to, I think you really need to design the communication which you have basically rendered to these segments. And that is, I think, something which is very, very important. So once you understand who's your customer, what is the segment, you can actually tailor-make the communication to basically that particular segment. And I'll share with you how we go about it. So we, of course, do believe in some kind of Bollywood power, and we do engage with some of the Bollywood stars to create this brand, to communicate.
थिएटर में एंजॉय करें हमारी नई फिल्म जवान।
I think you might have to.
सितंबर से, क्योंकि घर पे है देश की तिजोरी, गोदरेज के स्मार्ट होम लॉकर्स।
So we do some good amount of communication, engagement with our customers.
आतिशबाजी तुमने शुरू की, खत्म मैं करूंगा।
टाइगर हर कदम खतरों का सामना करता है, लेकिन जब घर की बात हो तो हम अपने कीमती चीजों की सुरक्षा का कोई रिस्क नहीं लेते।
त्योहारों के अवसर पे
And this
घर
is
के
what
लिए
I was
कुछ
talking
सोना
about,
लेना
in terms
बड़ा
of
शुभ माना
influencing the
जाता है।
women.
तो सोने के साथ इस बार उसकी स्मार्ट सुरक्षा की भी कीजिए तैयारी। This festive season is a golden opportunity to bring home Godrej home lockers and also gift it to your loved ones. अपने नजदीकी स्टोर या नीचे।
So the whole idea here was that how do we influence women, and that's the reason why we actually chose someone like Madhuri Dixit. And of course, this is the way we got insights and we acted. So that's how, I'm just trying to give you an example as to how we can enhance our communication on ground. There's also one more experiential thing which we did was in terms of reaching out to customers and giving them that experience. So we created canter trucks, and we actually displayed all our products on those trucks, and they went to more than 100 cities across the country to cover the market. We were actually trying to educate our customers as to what exactly they need to buy, what are the threats, what is the security landscape, and they actually came in and spoke to our team members. So it was like a mobile van wherein we were trying to impart education around the products. So this was the other initiative. Of course, exhibitions, I think we spoke about exhibitions in the morning as well, and that's something which we keep doing regularly, India as well as international exhibitions. So this is more about how we are working on our go-to-market plan. So I think that's the second bit which I shared to you, with you. I think the third, which is the most important part, I think, is the back-end enablers. And this is one area where we build an execution capability, good amount of flexibility. And when I actually try to relate, and of course, it was really a learning for me when I was attending some of the lectures today. Some of the speakers did talk about how the backend can be strengthened, how the supply chain can be really worked upon. So I think one of the things which I found relevant in terms of the jewelry and in terms of what we do as a manufacturer is inventory management. I think that is the key to really ensure how we can increase the return on capital employed. And I think unless and until we really understand what the market needs, how the changes or the dynamics keeps changing in the market, and how we really work on the back end to ensure we supply or we manufacture whatever is required in the market. And the sensitivity of the market understanding and the back end is something which is extremely important. Otherwise, what will happen is we'll actually end up with huge amount of inventory which will not be able to sell. And I think that is the key to ensuring a proper inventory is in place. And of course, as I said, the taste of the geography, the taste of the region in terms of design, I think is something very, very important. Last but not the least, one of the things which we keep doing is we have tie-ups with academia, and I think this is something which the jewelry industry can do, is something like NIDs. I think there are a lot of institutes of design, and one could actually look at taking fresh talent from there and also giving them certain projects to ensure that there are new ideas coming up which can be deployed. So I think academia, working closely with them is something which we keep doing, and that is a part of our back-end enabler. And last but not the least is how do you build that trust and how do you really ensure that you offer service. So that is the other piece which we keep working on as to how we can strengthen our service network, how we can empower, how we can ensure our service team is skilled enough to generate that kind of confidence amongst the customers. And that's something which is a key differentiator for the company which works on the service. The other thing which we keep doing is creating repository of service testimonials or creating repository of testimonials. I think we keep doing that regularly. I think we have more than 10,000 service and satisfied customer testimonials. And this is something which we really need to work on consciously. And my suggestion to all of you is that today there is a fantastic platform in the form of Google, My Business. And there you can see, everybody who wants to really manage your business really needs to work on generating good amount of reviews. And that is something where we really need to spend a lot of time. Last but not the least, when I look at, this is the certification part. I think there are mandatory certifications which are required if you are getting into different countries. So this is also a part of the back end. So like for example, we've got a China compulsory certification for our products, and we keep doing this regularly to ensure that we can export to all these countries. This is the risk management framework. I think I need not spend too much time on that, but I think only one thing which I want to highlight here, and this is something on the QCO, because today the regulator in India is very, very powerful, and they are issuing good number of quality control orders. And of course, Hallmark was one of the things which was launched, and of course it is implemented in India. The second thing which has now come up is in terms of how do you protect the jewelry which is hallmarked. So now what has happened is the DPIIT in India has come up with a regulation that any safe which is sold in India needs to have the BIS label. And that is now going to be mandatory from 8th of June. So that is where I think we just thought we'll share with you how the regulator or the regulatory framework can make a big difference to the business. So I think it is important to be aware of what is happening in that segment. Last but not the least, I think digital first organization is something which we need to create. And one of the things I felt as an outsider and somebody who's a consumer of jewelry and is what will be the impact? What will be the impact of artificial intelligence on jewelry design? I really don't know. I think maybe there are so many learned experts who are here and they can throw some light, but I think this is something which I have seen rampantly happening, and I don't know what is going to happen in the next 10 years or 5 years down the line, where the designs could actually be generated through generative AI or using the artificial intelligence. So I really don't know much on that segment as far as the jewelry industry is concerned. But yes, in our industry, there is a lot which is happening as an impact of artificial intelligence. So I think this is something which one need to really be looking at as to how that can impact and how we can really build skills to counter that. Search engine optimization, search engine marketing, I think that is something which everybody is doing. If not, I think one of the things I want to highlight, and this is what I keep telling my channel partners, you may have a big store, you may have a big outlet, but if you are not on social media, if you are not present on Google, you are just not there. Any amount of physical presence would not today be helpful. You need to be present on social media, social platforms. That is the only way, and it's very cheap. I think we heard some of the speakers talk about it. And how do we really leverage that? You can also use digital to basically look at procurement for your suppliers and things like that, because there are supplier exchange platforms which will help you to source very, very competitively, because you can actually get sources across the world at the press of a button sitting on your desktop. Last but not the least, something which we are working on is e-commerce. And I think something which what a Carrot Lane has done in terms of changing the dynamics in the jewelry industry is something which I think could be one of the things which may change the entire game going ahead in the next 5 years. So one needs to really look at what is going to happen in that e-commerce space. And I think one of the proxies which one can look at is the fashion industry. Look at what Nykaa has done, or of course Carrot Lane is already doing. So I think this is one opportunity one needs to really look at as to how they can leverage on e-commerce and with the store online. So that is the power of digital. Last but not the least, I want to share with you what we did, even in terms of refining our approach to the market. So one of the things which we did is we did a shopper research as to what is the life cycle and what is the way in which a shopper actually buys. So what are the touch points which a shopper actually goes through before making a buying decision. And I think if you can have that research-oriented mindset, you can actually really contemplate what exactly is going to happen with your customers. And then tailor-make all your communication, all your go-to-market strategies, everything around that shopper research or the outcome of the research. So this is something which we have done. We have looked at more on a family kind of a thing. As you can see on social media, we are now doing a lot of campaigns which are focused on families, which are focused on women who are going to be the decision makers. So this is something which came out from the shopper research which we did. So anything which we do is basis some amount of research. तुक्का नहीं मारते हम लोग, वो IPL में चलता है लेकिन इन बिजनेस वो नहीं चलेगा. Right? I can see sir nodding your head. So last but not the least, I think congratulations to GJC, because I think what you are doing here is investing in future in terms of how the next gen can be really taken ahead. And that's why I thought that I must come here and really share what we are doing. Of course, for paucity of time, I could not really cover too much of a ground, but or spend too much time. But I thought that this is something which, again, every business, if it has to have a long-term future, and I was very happy to see your kids coming here and talking. I'm really proud of them. The way they came and spoke on the stage, phenomenal. And this is one way of your really grooming the talent here. So I think the other area which I think jewelers can work on is the skill sets of your designers, of your karagirs, and that I think is very, very important. The other thing which we are also working on, and this is something which we do year after year, year on year, is investing in the talent right from the workman level. So right from welding, वो welding कैसे कर रहा है, grinding कैसे कर रहा है, how he is doing the entire assembly. So we keep conducting a lot of training programs for these people right from the workman level, and that ensures that the product which comes in the market is of highest quality. And that is where I think it is something which is very, very important to invest in the talent. And that's why I think I can stand as a part of this organization, which is 127-year-old. So all these things which I spoke about in a nutshell actually can help to build a business and be ahead of time, be ahead of the curve. So with that, I think last but not the least, a few things which I felt are important for the jewelry industry is the competitive advantage, which is sustainable. And for that, when I look at an outsider into the jewelry industry, I think one of the things which is very, very essential is understanding of what the customer wants and tailor-making your designs to suit that requirement. Secondly, I think is on technology, how you're really rising and how you're leveraging the technology. A third is going to be a differentiator in terms of how fast you can keep changing your designs, and also how fast you adopt and adapt to what's happening in the market. So I think with that, let me just get on to the last slide, which again talks about the QCO.
मैं रात को सो रहा था और मेरे फोन पर सिक्योरिटी अलार्म बजा। मैं हड़बड़ा कर उठा और अपनी दुकान की तरफ भागा। पहुंचा तो देखा इधर-उधर थोड़ा बहुत डैमेज हुआ था। मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा था कि मेरी दुकान पर आखिर किसने चोरी करने की कोशिश की। फिर मैं वॉल्ट रूम की तरफ भागा तो वहां पर सेफ पे मैंने स्क्रैचेस देखे। मैं घबरा गया। फिर मैंने जब उसको अनलॉक किया तो देखा कि सारा का सारा स्टॉक वहां पे सेफ और अनटच्ड था। आप यकीन नहीं मानेंगे, उस दिन मुझे महसूस हुआ कि हम जैसे कितने ज्वेलर्स हैं जो सिक्योरिटी के साथ में समझौता करते होंगे। ऊपर वाले की दुआ से मैंने हमेशा गोदरेज की BIS सर्टिफाइड तिजोरी पर ही भरोसा किया। गोदरेज की, हम सब की, देश की तिजोरी, मेरी तिजोरी।
So with that, thank you so much. I think thank you for your patience. This again, the ad which I showed you was prompted by the QCO, the recent QCO which came in. So, the whole idea is how we are having our eyes and ears open to what is happening in the market and refining our strategies, refining our plans. So that's where I think all this really matters. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and all the very best to, of course, the experience. I think it's again a merger of experience along with the youth. So I think it's phenomenal. Great to be here, and all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you. Pushkar ji. Always you've been supporting us, and we are very happy in GJS also. We are using more than 300 to sometimes 800 safes. Yeah. And all of us are feeling very secure in our stalls when we are keeping about jewelry varying from 550 kilos to about 800 kilos wearing. So we are very happy to be associated with Godrej, and in future also, whenever we are getting, anybody wants to buy safes, we are always suggesting best to go with Godrej.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.